Brady told one of the nurses about a woman who never attended the clinic because she thought it was a load of rubbish. 26 weeks. 28. 30. My mother, then a shy nurse in her late 20s, attended all her appointments. Quickening gets its own entry on the record card. The first time a person felt their baby move was deemed medically important. The term has a long pedigree. 17th century Englishwomen took quickening as a definitive proof of pregnancy. Ojibwe women native to North America saw this as when a life within became a human being. Familiarity with the term has come and gone. Charlotte Hirsch, a novelist who in 1917 anonymously wrote the first published personal account of being pregnant, had always thought the word meant the baby taking its first breaths of outside air. My English friends and family routinely know the term. The friends and colleagues where I usually reside and work in the United States sometimes do not. The record card documents the sensations and feelings of pregnancy tersely and at second hand. Quickening is recorded by a date, but no other details. Well, recorded the London doctor at 34 weeks. Feels well, wrote the Essex doctor a little later. Well again at 40. If it's a dilemma figuring out how to recapture experiences from the 1970s, how much greater for the terrain of Britain and North America since the 17th century? These places have been sometimes connected by a colonial past or by changes common to the West, and sometimes not. Feels well. The brevity of that tiny phrase is typical of what past experiences of mothering have left behind for us to notice retrospectively and to wonder about. Even in the best-lit corners of past and present, caring for an infant interrupts thinking, punctures reflection, or leaves a book half-read. The richest records, like letters and diaries, often stop exactly as they are getting interesting. A piece of correspondence is left off, mid-sentence, the letter writer called away by a cry, or a diary suspends because both hands are needed to hold the baby. The political revolutions I more usually research as a historian lend themselves to massive paper trails. Declarations of independence, constitutions, newspaper columns, ideological pamphlets, wartime correspondence. When not on maternity leave, I tell my students grand narratives about the late 18th century transition from kingdoms to republics. Their eyes widen at the less familiar parts, not the doings of a Benjamin Franklin or a Marie Antoinette, but enslaved men and women escaping to freedom, or Native American diplomats forging alliances with France or Spain, Britain or the United States, in an attempt to stop settlers' expansion across the American continent. About mothering an infant, I am on smaller, grittier ground. The drama is piecemeal, and the record is fragmentary. Some of quickening, or of feeling well, 1970s style, is illuminated by contexts immediately beyond the maternity card. Pregnancy should be healthy and content, according to medical recommendations of the day, a happy event. Will it be a happy book? My very private mother asks kindly, tentatively on the phone, a thread of worry in her voice. In fact, we know more about experiences of mothering in the 1970s than any earlier generation, thanks to the women's liberation movement of that decade. When Anne Oakley asked her London interviewees about quickening, they detailed the baby's first movements variously as like food resting, or just like fluttering, or a little butterfly, a fish swimming, or a very large tadpole. Some writers, mainly white feminists in the United States, published maternal memoirs, as if the fact that having a baby had become optional finally allowed the complexity of maternity to be worthy of interest. Others defiantly wrote poetry. The Language of the Brag, Sharon Olds titled her poem about giving birth. But what's left behind from Britain and North America before the 1970s is mainly a hundredweight of fragments. A 17th century court record happens to reveal a baby being noisy in church, or an 18th century traveller describes a native woman tanning a leather hide, intending